Question 4. We rewrote the equation and then we used the distributive property. After using the distributive property, make sure you look at the left-hand side and the right-hand side to see if you need to combine anything. On the left-hand side, those two can be combined. What is 2h minus h? 1h. So this side says h minus 14. What's the other side say? They say the same thing. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Something weird probably going to happen. Well, let's keep going. Let's get all the letters moved to one side. So I'm going to move this h. Is this h positive or is this h negative? How do you move something that's positive? That's right. Subtract h. So that leaves me with negative 14, because they're going to cancel on both sides, equals negative 14. If the letters all disappear, then you're either going to be left with a true or a false. Is this answer true or false? Does negative 14 really equal negative 14? So you're going to write true. When it's true, it's infinitely many solutions. Question 3. Question 3. No, 5. Question 5. We'll write it over here. Question 5 says negative 3 plus 8z equals negative 13 plus 8z. This is question 5. What do you do first on this problem? Yeah, I got some z's on both sides. I need to get them all moved to the same side. I'm going to move this z. I'm going to subtract 8z from both sides. So I'm going to cancel here. And this is going to be negative 13. Does it also cancel here? Negative 3. All the letters are gone. When all the letters are gone, ask yourself if it's true or false. Does negative 3 equal negative 13? False. When it's false, it's no solution. So question 5 is no solution. Question 6 says, Nina wants to download games for her video game console. Older games cost 100 points. New releases cost 200 points. She has 2,000 points to use. Here's her equation, where A is the number of older games and B is the number of new releases. How many older games can she download if she downloads 2 new games? Circle that. 2 new games. Which letter represented the new games? Did B? Okay. So here's question 6. The equation says 100A plus 200B equals 2,000. And B is 2 the first time we work it. So this will say 100A plus 200 times 2 is 2,000. We plug the 2 in place of B. And then we need to multiply 100A plus 400 is 2,000. What would be the next step? Subtract 400. So 100A equals, divide. $16. So once I divide, I get A equals 16. Now it's a multiple choice test, so I'm going to go back over here and look. What do y'all think? The answer's going to be A, isn't it? So, there's my answer. Because I got 16 on the first one. None of the rest of them have 16 on the first one. H over negative 30 equals 5 over negative 6. You need to get rid of that negative 30. It's dividing. How do you get rid of something that's dividing? Multiply. Multiply by negative 30 on both sides. So H is equal to, well, you're going to have 5 times negative 30, which is negative 150, divided by 6. It's going to be negative 25. No, it's not. It's not going to be negative because guess what? A negative times a negative is a positive. It's going to be positive 25. Is that an answer choice? All right. Write it down. 4 less than a number n is less than 17. And you've got to pick out the statement that says that. And this one's a little tricky because it has the phrase less than in there twice. The first time it says 4 less than a number, it means you're subtracting. You're doing n minus 4. Then it says is less than. When it says is less than, that's that symbol. Instead of an equal sign, it's the greater than, less than sign. And this time it's the less than sign. And it's less than 17. Now, when it says 4 less than a number, you don't do 4 minus n. You reverse the order. Think about this. What's 4 less than 10? You automatically know it's 6, right? And the math behind that would be 10 minus 4 equals 6. So which answer choice matches this? D. Question 9. It simply asks you which number is a solution to the inequality. So this symbol has the big open end towards the variable b. You need to pick the number that would make it true. So I'm looking for a number that's bigger than 11.9. C. Okay, when we solve inequalities, then we have to graph. What is the graph of negative infinity to negative 7 or 0 to infinity? Have y'all ever heard the word infinity? When it keeps on going. So infinity keeps on going on the positive side. What about negative infinity? On the negative side. So we want the graph that's shaded from negative infinity to negative 7. Which ones, are they all shaded up to negative 7?
No.
Look over here.
Yeah.
Yes. But some of them have colored dots and some have open dots. Remember this. Negative infinity to negative 7 with a bracket would be a colored dot. If it just has a parenthesis, it's an open dot. So I can automatically eliminate those two. Those won't work because I didn't have a bracket. The other part of the graph picks up at 0 and goes to positive infinity. And it has what kind of dot? If it's a parenthesis, it has open. So which of those does that? D. Because I can mark those out because they have solid dots. Next question, number 11. A new comedian is building a fan base. The table shows the number of people who attended his shows in the second, third, and fourth month of his career. Tell me about these numbers. Did these numbers go up or go down? Did they go up by the same amount every time?
No.
Not really, because some of them grew a lot, right? So we know that this is what kind of relationship, positive or negative? Positive. Okay, so select the graph that represents the data. So all of the graphs have month on the bottom and number of people on the side. If it goes down from left to right, mark it out because it's not a negative situation, it's only a positive situation. If the dots go up in a straight line, it means the numbers increase by the same amount. Is that the situation we have here? No. So the only one left that makes sense is A. Flip the page. The table shows the amount of money made by Summer Blockbuster in each of the first 4 weeks of its theater release. Which graph represents the data shown in the table? Does this data go up or go down as you move through? If it goes down, what kind of relationship is it? Negative. Does it go down by exactly the same amount every time? No. Then it won't be a perfectly straight line. So let's look at our options. We have weeks and money. Y'all said this was a negative situation, so mark out the ones that are positive. Not going to be a positive situation. Going to be a negative situation. If it goes down by exactly the same amount, the dots are going to line up in a line. If it does not, there's going to be a little bit of a curve to it. Which situation should you choose for your answer? Yes. Question 13. A hiker climbs up a steep bank, then rests for a minute, and then walks up a small hill, and finally across a flat plateau. Which graph could represent the elevation, not the distance the hiker's gone, but the elevation? If that hiker is climbing up a hill, what's happening to his elevation? It's going up. If he's resting, what happens to his elevation? It's the same. No more change going on. If he walks up a small hill, what happens to his elevation? And then if he walks across a flat plateau, does his elevation change? So which graph would represent this situation? Yeah. Okay. Next page. A. In the diagram below, what is the relationship between the number of rectangles and the perimeter that they form? What does perimeter mean?
Around?
Yep. So if this is 3 and this is 5, what do y'all know about these other two sides here? 5 and 3. So what's the perimeter here? 16. Now, let's do the same thing here. Let's fill in the parts we know them, they're just not labeled. I need the perimeter here.
22.
6 and 6 is, 22. And I need the perimeter here.
28.
Okay. Which of the following tables matches our data? A. Next question. Question 15. Which of the following graphs could represent the relationship described above? This is the perimeter problem. So what were our numbers for perimeter? Our 16, 22, and 28, and it was figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3? Figure and perimeter. Okay. So which of these looks like it fits here? What are y'all thinking? I'm going to mark out A. A is wrong. I know that. I'm going to mark out C because it's wrong. I need one to start at 16. Both of these start at 16. And then I need one that's going to be 22. Well, that's more than 22. So we're going to go with B. All right, same kind of problem over here. In this diagram, what is the relationship between the number of triangles and the perimeter? What did y'all say the perimeter was here? 16. What's the perimeter here? 20. And what's the perimeter here? 24. Which of the following represents the question above? The perimeter is equal to the length of a side of one triangle multiplied by the number of triangles in the figure plus the length of the base. So would this work? 6 times n plus 4. What's 6 times 1? Plus 4. That's not gonna work, is it? What's the next one say? 4n plus 12. What's 4 times 1 plus 12? Well, it worked on that one. Let's try on the next one. What's 4 times 2 plus 12? 20. What's 4 times 3 plus 12? So that one works. That's it. It's answer B. Is it B? Yeah, right here. Circle it or underline it. Suppose you know the perimeter. What would you do to find the perimeter of n plus 1 triangles? What are we adding every time?
4 and 6.
Every single time we're adding 4 in this situation. So you would add 4 to the perimeter of the nth one, whichever one was in front of it. I don't want that to be circled. 18. Is this function linear or nonlinear? If it's linear, it's going to go up by the same amount every time.
9.
Do you think that's going up by the same amount? How much does it increase from here to here?
4.1.
Yep. And from here to here? 4.1?
Yeah, 4.1.
4.1, and from here to here? Since it's 4.1 every time, it's linear. Here we go. The table shows the total number of squares in each figure. What is the pattern you can use to complete the table? The first picture's got 5 squares. Second picture, they've got 13. Third picture is 29. How many is it increasing by? I wonder if it's the same thing every time. 8? What about this one? Okay, so it's not the same number every time. I wonder which equation would give me that answer. Do y'all see something squared in there? Do y'all see a square? How many extra pieces are there outside of that square? 4. There's a square there with 4 extra pieces. Is there a square here with 4 extra pieces? Okay. The square that I see in picture 2 has a side length what? 3. So it's whatever your figure is, plus 1 squared, plus 4. This is it. B's our answer. Which of the following matches the pattern? So we're looking for 1, 5, 2, 13, 3, 29. Well, it's not this one. I think it's C. Okay, we studied functions. The ordered pair here represents a function. What rule represents this function? 1 turns into 1. If you do 4 times x, if you do 4 times 1, are you going to get 1 back? No. If you do 1 plus 4, you're going to get 1 back? No. If you do 4 to the first power, that's going to be 4. If you do 1 to the 4th power, that's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Is that going to give you 4? No. Is that going to give you 1? Yes. Well, what if you use 2? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2?
4.
Times 2. Times 2. Okay, so we know that's the 1. We plugged our numbers in and we got the right answer. Question 21 was D. Question 22. Identify the mapping diagram that represents this relation and determine if it's a function. So it takes 3 and drags it to -6. -1 to -6. 5 to -6. And 8 to -6. Is that a function?
No.
It is a function. Nobody cares about y. You can't repeat the x's, but you can repeat the y's all day long. So yes, it's a function. So you got to pick the right picture and the right sentence. This is the right picture, but the sentence is wrong. So that's why I can't use it. Okay? So it's B. All right. 23. The function f or j of x equals 35x represents the number of jumping jacks you can do in x minutes. How many jumping jacks can you do in 5 minutes? So you drag that 5 up there, and you multiply it by 35. So this would say J of 5 equals 35 times 5. What's 35 times 5? 5 times 30 is 150. 5 times 3 is 15. 150 and 15 makes... I messed that up. 5 times 5 is 25. 150 and 25 makes... That's right. The function b of n equals 8n represents... Is there a relationship? There's some data that shows that the more ice cream that is sold, the more people drown. Do you think that ice cream has anything to do with people drowning?
No.
Why is there a correlation? When the ice cream sales increase, the drownings increase. Because they both happen in what time of the year?
Summer.
Okay. That's what they're going to trick you with on causal relationships. Now, is studying related to test scores?
No. I mean, yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What is going on?
All right, 31. Okay. Shh.
Hey.
Good? You ready? Question 33. The graph below represents one function and the table represents a different function. All right, we've already done this one. Okay, 36 is the next one we're going to do. Skip over to 36. Be sure that you can work those equations. I'm going to stop.